Subhas Chandra Bose was a towering figure in India's struggle for independence. His life and actions have left an indelible mark on the history of the nation. He was a charismatic leader who ignited the spirit of freedom in millions. His speeches and writings inspired countless individuals to join the fight against British colonial rule. Bose believed in complete independence for India, a concept that set him apart from many of his contemporaries. While others were willing to negotiate for dominion status, Bose was adamant that nothing short of full sovereignty would suffice. He formed the Forward Bloc within the Indian National Congress, aiming to consolidate the political left and push for more radical approaches to achieving independence. Later, he went on to seek support from Axis powers during World War II. This controversial move was driven by his belief that the enemy of his enemy could be a friend in the fight for India's freedom. His goal was to secure India's freedom by any means necessary. Bose's patriotism was undeniable, and his willingness to take bold risks set him apart from other leaders of his time. He was a powerful orator who could move crowds with his words. His speeches were not just about rhetoric, they were calls to action that resonated deeply with the masses. He captured the imagination of India's youth. Young people saw in him a leader who was not afraid to challenge the status quo and who offered a vision of a free and prosperous India. They saw in him a leader who could deliver them from the shackles of British rule. His ability to mobilize the youth was a testament to his dynamic leadership and unwavering commitment to the cause. Bose's actions, though often controversial, were driven by an unwavering commitment to his motherland. He was willing to make difficult decisions and take paths less traveled to achieve his goals. He remains an enduring symbol of India's fight for self-determination. His legacy continues to inspire generations of Indians who strive for justice and equality. Bose's life took a dramatic turn in 1945. As the war was drawing to a close, he embarked on a journey that would lead to one of the greatest mysteries in Indian history. As World War II neared its end, he disappeared under mysterious circumstances. The plane crash in which he was reportedly involved has been the subject of much speculation and intrigue. This event, shrouded in enigma, would forever alter the course of Indian history. The uncertainty surrounding his fate has left a lasting impact on the nation's collective memory. It would spark countless theories, investigations, and debates that continue to this day. Scholars, historians, and enthusiasts have all tried to piece together the puzzle of his disappearance. The mystery surrounding Bose's disappearance is not just a historical puzzle, it is a deeply emotional and symbolic issue for many Indians. It represents a gaping hole in India's national consciousness. The lack of closure has left many questions unanswered and many hearts yearning for the truth. It is a question that continues to haunt the nation, a constant reminder of an unresolved past. The enigma of Bose's fate is a story that refuses to fade away. The search for answers about Bose's fate has become intertwined with India's own search for identity and closure. As the nation moves forward, the legacy of Subhas Chandra Bose remains a guiding light, reminding us of the sacrifices made for freedom and the enduring quest for truth. The official narrative of Bose's disappearance revolves around a plane crash. This tragic event has been the subject of much debate and speculation over the years, with many questioning the details and circumstances surrounding it. On August 18, 1945, he was reportedly aboard a Japanese aircraft that crashed in Taihoku, Taiwan, now Taipei. This date is etched in history as the day when one of India's most prominent freedom fighters met his untimely end. The plane, a Mitsubishi Ki-21 bomber, was said to have burst into flames shortly after takeoff. Eyewitnesses described a horrifying scene as the aircraft struggled to gain altitude before plummeting back to the ground in a fiery explosion. The crash claimed the lives of several passengers, and Bose was declared dead. The immediate aftermath was chaotic, with emergency responders rushing to the scene, but it was too late to save many of those on board. According to the official report, Bose suffered severe burns in the crash. His injuries were described as catastrophic, leaving little hope for his survival. He succumbed to his injuries shortly after being taken to a nearby hospital. Despite the best efforts of the medical staff, the extent of his burns was too severe, and he passed away within hours. This version of events was presented by both the Japanese and British governments at the time. They issued statements confirming Bose's death, and the news was widely reported in the media. It quickly became the accepted narrative, despite some lingering questions and inconsistencies. The public, eager for closure, largely accepted the official story, though some remained skeptical. However, doubts began to surface almost immediately. Some people found the circumstances of the crash suspicious and began to voice their concerns. Some witnesses claimed that the plane crash was staged. They argued that the entire event was orchestrated to cover up Bose's escape or capture. Others questioned the authenticity of the remains that were said to be Bose's. Forensic examinations and the lack of conclusive evidence led to further doubts. The lack of clear photographic evidence of Bose at the crash site or in the hospital fueled further speculation. People wondered why there were no definitive images or records of his injuries and subsequent death. Doubts persisted, and the official story began to unravel. As more people began to question the narrative, the story of Bose's death became increasingly controversial. The mystery surrounding the plane crash, rather than providing closure, only deepened the enigma of Bose's disappearance. The more people investigated, the more questions arose. It became the focal point of numerous conspiracy theories. Some believed that Bose had survived and was living in hiding, while others thought he had been captured by enemy forces. It raised more questions than answers. Each new piece of information seemed to contradict the last, making it difficult to discern the truth. The incident in Taiwan, meant to mark the end of Subhas Chandra Bose's life, inadvertently gave birth to an enduring mystery. Instead of providing closure, it opened a Pandora's box of speculation and intrigue that continues to this day. The official account of Bose's death in the plane crash was riddled with inconsistencies. From the very beginning, there were numerous gaps and contradictions in the narrative provided by the authorities. These inconsistencies were not just minor details, but significant points that raised serious questions about the authenticity of the entire story. These discrepancies fueled public skepticism and gave rise to numerous alternative theories. People began to question the official version, and soon, a plethora of theories emerged, each attempting to explain what really happened to Bose. Some believed that he had survived the crash and was living incognito, while others thought that the crash itself was a fabrication. One of the most glaring issues was the lack of conclusive evidence identifying the remains recovered from the crash site as Bose's. The remains were never definitively proven to be his, leading to further doubts. Forensic examinations were inconclusive, and the lack of DNA testing at the time only added to the uncertainty. Eyewitness accounts also varied significantly. Some witnesses claimed to have seen Bose alive after the alleged crash, while others provided conflicting testimonies that only added to the confusion. These differing accounts made it difficult to piece together a coherent narrative of the events. Some witnesses claimed to have seen Bose alive after the alleged crash. These sightings were reported in various locations, suggesting that he might have escaped and was living under an assumed identity. Such claims, though unverified, kept the hope alive that Bose had survived. Others questioned the details of the incident itself, suggesting that the plane crash might have been staged. The idea that the crash was a cover-up for Bose's escape gained traction, especially given the political climate of the time. The possibility of a staged crash was not entirely implausible, considering the stakes involved. The Japanese and British governments, for their part, offered conflicting information, further muddying the waters. The Japanese provided one version of events, while the British had a different account. These discrepancies between the two governments' statements only deepened the mystery and made it harder to discern the truth. The inconsistencies extended to the official investigations as well. Various investigative bodies came to different conclusions, and their reports were often contradictory. This lack of consensus among investigators only fueled further speculation and doubt. The initial inquiry conducted by the British government was widely criticized for its lack of thoroughness and transparency. Critics argued that the investigation was superficial and did not delve deeply enough into the available evidence. This perceived lack of rigor led many to believe that the British had something to hide. Subsequent investigations by the Indian government, while more comprehensive, failed to definitively prove or disprove the plane crash theory. Despite their best efforts, Indian investigators could not provide a conclusive answer, leaving the mystery unresolved. The lack of definitive evidence meant that the question of Bose's fate remained open. The lack of a conclusive narrative surrounding Bose's disappearance had a profound impact on Indian society. It created a sense of uncertainty and unease as people grappled with the possibility that their beloved leader might still be alive. This uncertainty permeated all levels of society, from the highest echelons of government to the common man on the street. It created a void that was filled with speculation, conspiracy theories, and a persistent sense of unease. The media played a significant role in this, with newspapers and television channels constantly churning out new theories and speculations. This constant barrage of information, much of it unverified, only added to the confusion and uncertainty. The mystery of Netaji, as he was popularly known, became a national obsession, a puzzle that generations of Indians have tried to solve. Over the years, numerous books, documentaries, and research papers have been produced, each offering a different perspective on what might have happened. Yet, despite all these efforts, the mystery remains unsolved, a testament to the enduring enigma that is Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose.